Karina, baby, for the 4th of July, the Independence Day Parade. Happy Independence Day. Today is Independence Day, the day of the big parade. Police Chief Fox is busy lending the processions down High Street. The way he says, marching proudly at the head of the parade, he is followed by a troupe of drum marionettes in their sharp uniform, the fire department in a shiny new fire engine, and a full truck of dainty dancers in costumes. The Ragtag Tiger Band playing jazz, and a funny fur full of clowns squirting water. The busload of monkeys waving flags, a dump truck full of balloons, and the town bang marching on behind. Tantara, tantara, boom, boom, boom. That's like a real parade, right? Look at the parade. Next one is stone soup. How did you like my costume, Sally? Asked Sam, marching into his living room. Sally looked up and her eyes went wide. It looks great, Sam, she said. You look just like a real cardinal soldier. I bet you'll have the best costume in the whole school play. I don't know, Sam said thoughtfully. Your country girl outfit looks good too. I can hardly wait, Sam, Sally said, standing up and imagining herself on the school stage. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting our school drama transition of the classic folk story, Stone Soup. Stone Soup by Marcia, Marcia Brown. Marcia Brown. 3 soldiers trudged down the road in a strange country. They were on their way home from the wars. Besides being tired, they were hungry. In fact, they had eaten nothing for 2 days. How I would like some good dinner tonight, said the first. And a bed to sleep in, said the second. But all that is impossible, said the third. We must march on. On they marched. Suddenly ahead of them, they saw the lights of a village. Maybe we'll find a bite to eat there, said the first. And a loft to sleep in, said the second. No harm in asking, said the third. Now the peasants of the place feared strangers. When they heard that 3 soldiers were coming down the road, they talked amongst themselves. Here comes 3 soldiers. Soldiers are always hungry, but we have little enough for ourselves, and they hurried to hide their food. They pushed sacks of barley under the hay in the lofts. They lowered buckets of milk down the wells. They spread old quilts over the carrot bins. They hid their cabbage and potatoes under their beds. They hung their meats in the chillers, and they hid all they had to eat. Then they waited. The soldiers stopped first at the house of Paul and Francis. Good evening to you, they said. Could you spare a bit of food? For 3 hungry soldiers. We haven't had no food for ourselves for 3 days, said Paul. Francis made a sad face. It has been a poor harvest. The 3 soldiers went on to the house of Albert and Louise. Could you spare a bit of food? And have you some corner where we could sleep for the night? Oh no, said Albert. We gave all we could spare to soldiers who came before you. Our beds are full, said Louise. At Vincent and Marie's, the answer was the same, and it had been the poor harvest, and all the grain must be kept for seed. So it went all through the village. Not a peasant had any food to give away. and all had good reason. One family used the grain for food, another had an old sick father to care for, and had too many mouths to fill. The villagers stood in the street and sighed and looked as hungry as they could. And the three soldiers talked together. There the first soldier called out, "Good people!" The peasants drew near. "We are 3 hungry soldiers in a strange land. We have asked you for food, and you have no food. Well, then, we'll have to make stone soup." The peasants stared. Stone soup? There would be something to know about that. "First we'll need a large iron pot," the soldier said. The peasants brought a large pot they could find, the largest pot they could find. How else to cook enough? "There is none too large," said the soldier, "but it will do. And now the water to fill it, and a fire to heat it." It took many buckets of water to fill the pot. A fire was built in the village square, and the pot was set to boil. "And now, if you please, 3 round smooth stones." They were easy enough to find. The peasants' eyes grew round as they watched the soldiers drop the stones into the pot. "Any soup needs salt and pepper," said the soldiers, and they began to stir. Children ran to fetch salt and pepper. Stones like these generally make good soup, but oh, if there were carrots, it would be much better. "Why, I think I have a carrot or two," said Frances, and off she went. She came back with her apron full of carrots from the bin beneath the red quilt. "A good stone soup should have cabbage," said the soldier, as they sliced the carrots into the pot. But no use asking for what you don't have." "I think I can find a cabbage somewhere," said Marie, and she hurried home. Back she came with 3 cabbages from the cupboard under the bin. "If only we had a bit of beef and a few potatoes, this soup would be good enough for a rich man's table." The peasants thought that over. They remembered their potatoes and the sides of beef hanging in the cellars. They ran to fetch them. A rich man's soup, and all from a few stones. It seemed like magic. "Ah," sighed the soldiers as they stirred the beef and potatoes. "If we only had a little barley and a cup of milk, this soup would be fit for a king himself." Indeed, he asked for just such a soup when last he dined with us. The peasants looked at each other. The soldiers had Here they are. Had entertained the king well, but no one asked for what you don't have, the soldier sighed. The peasants brought their barley from the lofts, they brought their milk from the wells, and the soldiers stirred the barley and the milk into the streaming broth when the peasants stared. At last the soup was ready. "All of you shall taste," the soldier said, "but first a table must be set." Great tables were placed in the square, and all around were lighted torches. Such a soup! How good it smelled! Truly fit for a king. But then the peasants asked themselves, would not such a soup require bread and a roast and cider? Soon the banquet was spread and everyone sat down to eat. Never had there been such a feast. Never had the peasants tasted such soup and fancy made from stones. They ate and drank and ate and drank, and after they all danced, they danced and sang far into the night. At last they were tired. Then the 3 soldiers asked, Is there not a loft where we could sleep?" The 3 such wise and splendid gentlemen slept in a loft. Indeed, they must have been the best beds in the village. So the first soldier slept in the peasant's house. The second soldier slept in the baker's house, and the third soldier slept in the mayor's house. In the morning, the whole village gathered in the square to give them a send-off. "Many thanks for what you have taught us," the peasant said to the soldiers. "We shall never go hungry now that we know how to make soup from stones." "Oh, it's all in knowing how," said the soldier, and off they went down the road. So everybody chipped in, everybody helped out the soldiers, because the soldiers made it into a stone soup. The doggie's out, and I don't know exactly what he's doing. I think he's playing with his toy, though. Let's do, the ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching one by one. The little one stops to suck his thumb, and they all go marching down to the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, 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 boom. The ants go marching two by two, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching two by two, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching two by two. The little one stops to tie his shoe, and they all go marching down to the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, 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 boom. The ants go marching three by three, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching three by three, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching three by three. The little one stops to find the key, and they all go marching down to the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, 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 boom. The ants go marching four by four, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching four by four, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching four by four. The little one stops to shut the door, and they all go marching down to the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, 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 boom. The ants go marching five by five, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching five by five, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching five by five. The little one stops and shouts he's alive. They all go marching down to the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, 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 boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Karina, baby, I love you and I miss you so incredibly much. I really hope that you're having a wonderful day today. I just miss you, baby, and I just love you. And I just hope that you know that you're loved. You are so incredibly loved, honey.